Hello everybody, my name is Aud and welcome back to the Aud Narrations channel. Today we're reading the sort of third part of 4 of this mini-series titled Sitting in a McDonald's Parking Lot. So we're reading a few more of OP's pieces, the updates based on the original story, and the first one I think is one that a lot of people, I guess especially men, seem to suffer from post-affair. I'm sure women have the exact same thing, but mirrored. This piece is titled, How Did You Get Your Masculinity Back? For so long in my marriage, I had to kowtow to my soon-to-be ex-wife, because I knew if I escalated her issues, it would lead to a divorce threat. I was so desperate to be there every day for my kids, and in truth, I loved her. I would eat shit and back off. While I don't think my wife cheated earlier in our marriage, she has always had a problem keeping an appropriate social life. The process of constantly stifling myself really made me an anxious, nervous wreck at the end. Not who I remember myself to be. Now I've been further emasculated by being publicly cheated on by my totally unrepentant partner. The brazen and total lack of regret makes me honestly want to hurt her physically. I would never and have never, but there is some fire in my chest screaming for retribution. In some sense of establishing dominance again, because I'm so sick of what this woman turned me into, and I'm flabbergasted I let it happen. Sex has me anxious to get back into it. It's been at least 3 or 4 years since I had a good mutual sex with my wife. I feel so out of practice. Unless I meet a woman whose fetish is 45 seconds of confusion, I'm not sure how to hop back on that horse. How do I get myself there? I have no idea, but watching my wife screwing her brains out for the next couple of years isn't going to help. I'm so fucking pissed and broken. I want to take a flamethrower to a wardrobe, or something, I don't know. But I'm getting fucking pissed as opposed to hurt. OP. If your wife is still around and sort of, whether she's doing it consciously or not, but rubbing your face in it, you need to change your environment. Get her out of there or get yourself out of there. And the kids. Yeah, let's see what the comments say. Someone's left a comment saying, the best revenge is snapping off your rearview mirror and starting to drive where you want to go, when you want to go. Stop measuring yourself based on your cheating spouse's actions. You're very much a real man, and you just need to reclaim your independence. Only you can do that. You clearly have the smarts and wherewithal, which just means money, to do it. Take baby steps, focus on yourself, and remember who you used to be before succumbing to the toxic cloud of humiliation that your ex farted in your face all these years. She's no longer your problem. There are plenty of nice, sane women in this world looking for a man with your sort of emotional intelligence and insight. Do not sell yourself short. You're a friggin' superhero who survived a run-in with a monster. That's about as strong as a man can get. Completely agree. Very positive message. Someone else left a comment saying, hang a boxing bag in your garage or spare room and take time to beat the hell out of it. Imagine whatever you want on it. A good physical workout will do wonders for your mental health. It will take time, but you will survive. Months and years from now, you will look back at what you went through with her and be proud that you accomplished so much. Karma will get to her. This already started with the social alienation from friends and your kids not wanting anything to do with her. She will not age gracefully and will miss out on holidays with kids and grandkids. She will end up living a lonely life. You got this, OP. You can do it. Someone replied saying, a heavy bag is cathartic. I beat the living crap out of one after a 12-year relationship went sideways. Fists, elbows, knees, headbutts, forearm strikes, all directed at and freeing me from all the anger and resentment. For me, the calm returned when I would swim lengths in a pool. Amazing how you can find yourself in focused exercise. Whatever flavor yours turns out to be, movement forward is the path to peace. I completely agree. Someone else left a comment saying, you know what? I hate saying happy wife, happy life. Every time I hear it, I have to wonder if some people are actually like that. Not getting their own way and being shitey, so the husband has to bow down and keep things calm. Hell no. Just be yourself and come to an agreement. When I wanted to do something and my ex didn't, I'd tell him it was cool. And my parents could babysit our son and he could do his thing and I could do mine. What's so hard about that? But apparently there are a lot of relationships this happens in. Your masculinity never left. You just refocused it on being an adult and a father. And now you don't have to refocus it. So you get to make your decisions by yourself again. You just need to get used to being able to do that. And you don't need to have anxiety anymore either. It's wins all around. Take dating at your own pace and know that while she's spreading herself around, she's making a bad reputation for herself. Yes, there's absolutely a double standard for women and what they get up to, but it happens and she's going to live it. Date when you're ready for it, and don't overthink what you're doing. I haven't introduced anyone to my son yet, and it's been 5 years. But as he doesn't see his dad or have a good relationship with him, I'm that bit more protective and wary of him getting hurt or rejected by someone. You absolutely will last longer than 45 seconds though. Just be confident in what you're doing. Marriages break down all the time, and her cheating isn't always indicative of what you could give her in bed. Someone replied to this, slowly, catchy monkey, is my husband saying, and it seems like it applied to OP. Someone left another comment saying, masculinity isn't tied to a sexual ability. I feel manly as fuck when I help an old lady across the street. I feel manly as fuck when I use scary dog privilege, without having to walk a dog alone at night. I feel manly as fuck when I catch a fish and release it. I feel manly as fuck when I stand up for a stranger or a marginalized person. I feel manly as fuck when I set positive examples for younger men and boys. I felt emasculated as fuck after D-Day. I felt really weak and small. Had a few interactions where I felt like I was being weak because I walked away from conflict, and then I realized showing great restraint was being manly as fuck. Fighting the urge to explode and winning that battle was being the bigger man. Fighting the urge to snap my fingers and Thanos AP's world was being the bigger man. Being one hell of a fucking badass dude, simply not giving up and rolling over. You're setting boundaries and standing the fuck up for yourself. It's fucking superhero shit. You are masculine. The next subchapter, I guess, is titled, This Place is Becoming a Day-by-Day Journal. And they write, I'm sorry for that. I don't want to lean on anyone too much IRL, lest I exhaust them. I'm writing for my own catharsis. I don't feel the need to reply if I get monotonous. It's like the mind jumps from one thing to another. 1 hour, I'll be focused on my new responsibilities. How will I hold up financially? How will I bring laughter and joy back into my home? It's buried so deep inside me sometimes I wonder if the kids would be better with my wife. She seems airy and upbeat, and I'm on the baton death march in a glass case of isolation. Then, when that worry subsided, I go to the betrayal. Oh my god, she was screwing that guy that night, partying, doing shrooms with some tennis player, while I was sitting at home depressed and wondering why she was making so many plans. It really is true, the fewer details the better. When I start connecting dots in real time, I really spiral. Fast and hard. I'm thinking I kind of let my wife go 6 months ago. I was so tired of fighting for her to be home more, I just let her go. And boy, did she go. For those following my post to my last, I mentioned I moved my wife out of the master bedroom, instead of sleeping in the guest room, which I'm sure she saw as beneath her. She packed and left to stay with a friend. Her lease starts October 1st, but I doubt she'll spend another night in this house again. She's not moving out of town despite my kids begging her to, which is annoying. She's too close to the bars and friends and tennis she knows. Kids' wishes be damned. Social life was always number one. Once I can put the future and the betrayal to bed for a while, I get to keep trying to keep the place running smoothly while the kids are grieving. I'm trying, but I am not holding it together all the time. When does she stop becoming the focus of household conversation? And I can't shake that feeling that I'm the loser in this situation. See? Now I'm back to obsessing about the betrayal again. It do be like that. Someone left a comment saying, You are not the loser. You have been abused by her. Your trauma is real, and it may last for a while longer. When thoughts of her creep in, change your thoughts to your kids or a new future. Start working on OP.2, version 2. Her moving out is the best thing for you at this time. If you plan to stay in the house, you need to rearrange the furniture and wall coverings. Let your kids help as they might enjoy it. Make it a new family day. Get a new bedroom set. Put all your things from her, pictures and gifts, in a box somewhere you don't have to look at. Change your clothes and get a new haircut. Age will catch up to her, and for good measure, an STI. You'll go on without her. Your kids know you are the stable parent. They need you to be there for them. When you are outside, walk straight with your head held high. Smile at the world. Continue to post to OP. This community of internet strangers will help the best they can. You can do this. Take care of you and your kids. Someone else left a comment saying, Hey, that's what we're here for. I know this is hard, but the sooner she's out, the better. You're moving forwards, certainly. You have to be there for your kids and let them process. But for yourself, do everything you can to decenter her from your life. When I find myself thinking about mine, I tell myself to stop out loud. I purposely find something else to do, and eventually it becomes automatic. Keep going. OP replied saying, How do you handle kids' sports? Do you sit together for the kid? Because I don't want to do that. Someone replied saying, I doubt your kids want her there. Don't let her know where the events are. If she goes, make a point not to sit with her. Most people already know why, and if not, tell them. OP replied saying, Nah, You have to understand, in many circles my wife is very popular, and if she gets the cold shoulder from someone, she doesn't really care. She'll be at those games. She will not be the least bit embarrassed. I'm not as well known around town because, well, I was content to be home with the family most nights. From a social standpoint, she really has the upper hand. Someone else replied saying, OP, then let her sit with her social butterflies. The kids will go to you after the event and ignore her, and if it was me and she sat next to me, I would get up and move to a different seat. Let the tongues wag. Get involved with the event, concentrate on the action, and be there for your kids. I feel your pain more than I can explain. I think the comments are spot on there, to be quite honest. Okay, so next update is titled Soon to be ex-wife moved out and now it begins. She stayed in town, but it doesn't seem to matter. The kids won't be with her. She thinks it's all because of her ongoing affair and will blow over, but it's not. It's about the years of prioritizing her social life over her family. They have seen it for many years. I assume she's with her affair partner since her apartment is not ready yet, but honestly, that's fine. It hurts like hell, but at least she's gone, and to some extent, out of mind. That said, yesterday I was cleaning out her office of junk, and a receipt jumped out at me. Lingerie. In June. Shit like that really puts me on a spiral. I know what's happened, but for some reason, when the reality of the betrayal becomes real, and I'm faced with the particulars, it really puts me in a bad spot. My fight or flight response kicks in, and I absolutely cannot compartmentalize it. I try doing push-ups every time the images of her and her new partner creep into my head. That's a good shout. Burpees might be a better alternative, because they suck. We live in an affluent area, a small town in suburban New York City. My kids have been telling their high school friends what Mum has done and her behavior, so I know this is going to get around town. I just feel so isolated here, because she knows everyone. Everyone loves my wife. I just think she's not going to miss a beat socially or in any way, yet the kids are totally estranged from her. No one is crying that she left, but from the outside she's just trying to be happy. I can't leave this town for 6 years for the school district. I feel so exposed walking around. I'm sure she's filled many heads with half-truths and lies about me, maybe for a long time. It's not that I care per se, but I'm not immune to social anxiety, and I can't shake the feeling that I'm being judged somehow. Anyway, most docs are in, and mediation starts in earnest in October. I'm defeated, humiliated in our community, and I just can't wrap my head around how brazen and unrepentant she is. And the deeper I delve, unintentionally, into the betrayal, I see how complete it was. No remorse, no embarrassment. It's all so ugly, and I can't leave. I have to stay here in the crucible, and I'm going to be surrounded by people that like her and really don't know me. It shouldn't bother me like this, I know, but it's really tough, and it does. Someone left a comment saying, OP, with your children sharing their story and word getting around, I bet you will have many more in the corner than you realize. Hold your head up, clear out her mess from your house, and take your time to process. She's not a diamond, she's a rhinestone. Her shine will dull soon enough. Someone else replied to this saying, 100% this. My son recently told me of some of the parents that had my back that I hadn't seen in over 7 years. My son used to be friends with all the kids, but recently worked with one. They abhor my mother's behaviour and thought it was great that I stayed close and still treat him as my own blood, even though I have no legal rights. I raised that little shit since he was 5. I still can't figure out how the friend's parents found out about everything, since my son told me he's told them nothing, but I don't dwell. My actions speak louder than her words, and I think she's seeing that too. Someone replied to this saying, I raised that little shit since I was 5, with like a bunch of laughing emojis. I feel like this is something my stepfather would have said. He died 14 years ago, and I miss him every day. He was amazing and loved us with his whole soul. Someone else left a comment saying, she's lost the trust of her children. She's still their mum, but a lot of respect is gone. Believe me, you could have had the best social life, but if your children don't like or respect you, does it matter? Also, does it matter what her friends think? If they were complicit in this, then they are shit people as well. If they weren't, do you think they'll want her near their husbands? I learned years ago that having 3 or 4 real friends means so much more than 100 friendly acquaintances. Concentrate on you and your children's extended family and real friends. Hold your head high. The people you think are talking about you will be talking about why her kids aren't with her. Completely agree. Someone else left a comment saying, I know this is incomprehensibly difficult, but I can say that you should not focus on what people might be thinking. Because, just as easily, people may be thinking that your soon-to-be ex is a piece of shit. That doesn't make this any easier, but you're not to blame. You and your kids are the winners here. The ones that will continue to support each other, bring joy to each other, and live your lives better than she ever could hope to be. Her trajectory is finite. It's built on an of-the-moment bullshit, and none of it includes anything but all fair-weather friends. This isn't going to make you feel better, but to forewarn you that you and your family are the only solid things in her life, now and in the future. You're going to be okay. Not now, perhaps not for a long time, but every single fucking day is going to get easier. Seriously, all the best. The next update is titled, "My 12-year-old son started sleeping with me when my wife left for the affair partner." It reads, "He's having a tough time. He's being torn apart by his love for his mother on one side and the horror at what she is doing on the other. I welcomed him, brought him his blanket and a pillow in there. I get up with him when his alarm goes off to make him breakfast. Honestly, he may be as much a comfort to me as I am to him. That said, he's 12. How long do I let this go on? Do I let it just go on naturally for as long as he wants? Or is there a point where I try and steer him back to his own spot? I just want to give him comfort and security, and I don't want to mess this kid up for life by sleeping with dad until he's 14. Any of you have anything similar happen? My heart breaks for him. I want to take his pain for him so badly." OP, it sounds like he's coming to you for comfort and security. Maybe there's a worry that, or a fear of abandonment. This is how it's manifesting. I imagine with time it'll fix itself. Be there for him. Someone left a comment saying, "You are your son's comfort place right now. He's hurt and betrayed, and same as you were. He needs to feel close and that you aren't leaving him as well. He'll gradually feel safe and comfortable again. Just keep reassuring him and it'll all work itself out." Shame on that woman that left him. Not even going to call her mother. She isn't one. Someone left a comment saying, "Just putting this out there. There are many cultures where families do regularly sleep in the same bed. My dad grew up with 2 brothers in a 2-bedroom house, and all 3 boys slept in the same bed. That being said, I think he's just looking for some stability, and maybe in the back of his mind, he thinks you might leave him too, and just wants to make sure you won't. Have you thought about having him sleep in his room in his bed, and you sleep on the floor of his room for a couple nights? Maybe this will help him get back to normal?" Someone else left a comment saying, "He's fearing abandonment. You need to talk to him about how you'll always be there for him, and you'll never leave him as his mother has done. For now, he's sleeping with you as a form of security blanket. He'll stop when he's ready. Don't try and force him to his own bed. It'll just reinforce the feeling that he's alone. Good luck." Final post for today is titled, "A month into this, the total lack of remorse is the worst part." The post reads, "Seeing my soon-to-be ex look at me with those dead fish eyes and hear her list reasons for why I deserved this. It's so appalling. This beautiful person I put so much into. I put myself in her situation, even if we were still splitting up. I would be so remorseful that I ended it that way. I would have been sorry enough to my children that I would have ended it. If for no reason other than to stop traumatizing them. 20 years and 4 children, and granted it wasn't great. Maybe it did have to end. She certainly hasn't shown any interest in making our relationship any better over a decade. But 0 remorse, not one shred of warmth or regret for the pain she's caused. Like I deserved it or something. Yesterday, to justify it, she went out for lap dances with the clients. That was 2008. I told her before I went and came home early. It was like, what? 2008 I got lap dances with clients? Once? That justifies it? It makes me sick. Who the hell is this person that can act like openly dating someone inside our marriage is okay? I don't know. I know I'm never going to get the satisfaction, but for fuck's sake, is a sincere apology too much to ask?" Someone left a comment saying, "This is her feeble attempt to make herself feel better by blaming you for the breakup. If she admitted on reality and what she's doing, she'd be disgusted with herself. Instead, she's blaming you. You can bet she's telling everyone the same story. By your previous posts, you are not an outgoing social person, but you need to get the truth out there. Don't let her spin the narrative that this is your fault. At least tell a few people she left the marriage to be with another man. Get to a state of indifference with her. Don't look her in the eyes. Don't even acknowledge her presence. Only contact about kids and separation of assets by email or by text, or have it go through your lawyers. Sorry, OP, for what she's putting you through, but it will get better. Your kids are on your side. Take comfort in that." OP replied saying, "My kids got the truth out there. Teenage girls who are all furious with their mum. They told every kid in town who would listen. And I assume it will trickle up to some parents, but overall, given my soon-to-be ex-wife's popularity, she'll win the propaganda war." Someone replied to OP saying, "Lol, you won the kids. Why can't you see that? You're so invested in how others see her, yet the most important ones, the ones that provide innocent love, see nothing but disgust. And why do you continue to have useless conversations like this with her? When are you going to start prioritizing your own healing? Someone replied to this saying, why in the world did you even start this conversation? Why did you let her in the door and then currently engaged in it? You're currently your own worst enemy. You won't prioritize your own needs. You can't set appropriate boundaries. You've got to be the father your kids need right now. They need you to be the father and the mother. Quite honestly, your kids desperately need you to wake up and prioritize them and yourself and stop moping about how she won her friends, who are a bunch of pretentious, who gives a shit image chasers. It was a conversation on business matters that sort of went off the rails a bit. She came home yesterday and she said that she was moving back in, which led to a fight and sort of went off. She's not seeding the kids quite yet. She's saying, despite her open rejection of her, that it will eventually die down and she wants to be protected for when they might want to engage with her again. Someone left another comment saying, they rewrite history to make themselves not be the bad person in their own story. She actually believes that tribe right now, and possibly forever. That, or face the reality of just how awful she really is. Sounds like you'll be far better off not being married to her in the long run. Right now it hurts, but be free from this supremely selfish person has an upside, I'm sure. Someone left another comment saying, brother, this is exactly what they do. Bring up random occurrences from 10 years ago. I never got an apology or a thank you for the millions of dollars she walked away with. Thousands in monthly child support. 3 kids' college tuition fully funded, seasons of coaching, nightly math homework, 20 years of fidelity, or any other damn thing. Not to mention all the tennis. OP replied with, fucking tennis, man. And someone replied to OP saying, it's a really bad dynamic when the tennis group has other divorced women and those types that love drama and to stir the shit. OP replied with, exactly. She went from hanging out with nice ladies to hanging out with the drunken barfly set over the last 2 years. Someone left another comment saying, sounds like your wife just keeps doubling down to avoid coming to terms with the fact that she hurt you. She could still be in the affair fog, or she could just be in such deep denial she's reaching for any type of leverage that she can muster and try to keep the possibility of reconciliation alive. Now she's just grasping at straws. I know it's hard to conceptualize, but consider her mental state when trying to figure out why she's acting like this. She's backed against a wall. Subconsciously, she knows she's the villain here, but she can't accept it. She needs to be justified and absolved in a way that restores the status quo. So she slings any possible gripe at the wall, hoping it will justify what she did. Anything to stave off the crash of guilt most cheaters have when they're found out. In time, I feel like she'll come to terms with not just her betrayal, but also how her betrayal damaged you immensely. She'll have a what have I done moment, and feel an incredible amount of guilt, shame, and regret. But by that time, it'll be too late. Cheaters are basically junkies. They operate the same way as full-blown addicts, hiding secrets, finding any way to get their fix, being completely unsympathetic in the pursuit of their fix, and experiencing both guilt and comfort when they can indulge. Just like a junkie, cheaters rationalize why they deserve to indulge, whether because they work hard or because they accept that their lives are blown up, so they may as well feel better in the process. And just like a junkie, they eventually have to come to terms with the terrible things they did in feeding their addiction. It's why people often can't explain why they started an affair. They don't recognize that they're pursuing a high, and their choices are made entirely to continue the high without logic, sympathy, or an intended goal. It's also why they sometimes feel like they were an entirely different person during the affair. They did. They became a junkie. You'll make it through, friend. Just remember to do what's best for you now, and not what's best for her. She decided to go down her path. It's okay for you to go on your own way as well. Completely agree. Oh, this is heavy stuff. OP, I think the best thing that I could probably say right now is just to keep working on yourself and looking after your family. They may not say thank you now, but in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, down the line at least, even within 6 months, your family will be massively appreciative, especially your kids, of what you sacrificed to help them. And they'll see the difference between you sacrificing, to look after them, and their mother doing the polar opposite, not sacrificing anything, and because of that, neglecting them, to be quite honest. So, that concludes part 3 of this little 4-part series. I'm looking forward to reading a final one, to be quite honest. These stories, I find them really engaging, especially when there's a series of posts about like how all goes down and sort of like how different people interact. I think also the comments side of things is really fascinating. A lot of the advice is sort of the same, but people who have had similar experiences are giving advice on what they found to help them. So I think I want to use this platform as a place to kind of help spread the message, I guess. I know it's tiny at the moment, but this sort of I haven't really talked about this much on the channel, but this sort of channel I found really helped me when I was going through a rough patch, and I feel like I guess it's a debt I want to pay forward. Alrighty, so what do you think OP should do? What would you do in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, make sure to hit the subscribe button, that way you won't miss part 4. Alrighty, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.